So my idea is that today we will practice with the verbs that we introduced, and we learned about the different forms of the verbs. Just a few of the most common irregular verbs, which you can see over there on the board. Now, this time what I'd like to do is to ask you a question, and I will use some of these verbs in the question, some of these irregular verbs in the question. So your job is to listen to the question carefully and then answer the question in a complete negative sentence first. So you have to say no, da 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 da. Then you have to add an affirmative sentence. So you're going to answer with two sentences, and they're going to be complete, not the short answer, but the long answer. This is to help you get used to the sentence structure, the grammar, the sentence structure, and the vocabulary in context. And, of course, the forms of the negative and affirmative.
Affirmative, what
so
mean?
Affirmative is positive, yes.
Positive, so
yes. Positive, yes, yes. So let me write on the board. So you're going to listen to the question carefully. And you're going to respond with two types of sentences, okay? Respond first with a negative sentence. That means no, da da da, okay? And then I'll write it two ways, an affirmative or positive. Two ways to say the same thing. Okay, an affirmative or a negative sentence. Okay, now what we also want you to try to do is to use the same vocabulary and sentence structure that I use. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Okay, so negative means no. It's the opposite of positive. So how do you say negative in Chinese? You're looking that up in the dictionary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Negative.
For mathematical symbols, this is positive, and this one is negative. This one is positive, and this one is negative. Okay. What about negative? Did you spell it correctly? Negative.
Negative. 消极的，不。
消极的。
否定的。
否定的。
对。
Okay.
否定。
是否定的。
Negative.
Okay, and then the opposite is, when we talk about grammar, we say affirmative, which means yes. We can also say positive, which may be easier for you.
A positive 是肯定的。
肯定的。
Affirmative 是肯定的。
So 肯定的是 affirmative or positive, and 否定的是 negative.
Okay, negative.
All right, so let me give you an example. All right, how about if I give you an example? Okay, suppose I ask you, was I here yesterday? Was I here yesterday?
You are not. You wasn't.
No.
You wasn't.
You wasn't. Okay, I want you to try to use the whole sentence.
You wasn't here yesterday.
Okay. Now, I want you to look at your sentence and tell me if this verb is the right form.
You were not here.
Okay, so I use
You
was
don't.
I,
You
And
didn't.
and you need to answer. Okay, I asked you, was I here yesterday? This verb is from the verb be. Okay, remember the verb be is special.
Were.
Verb be. So no, you.
You were. W-E-R-E.
Okay, good.
You were not.
Right, you were not here yesterday.
Yeah.
And if we want to make it,
You weren't.
okay, so we could say you weren't.
You weren't. Not
Yes.
wasn't.
Not wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you weren't.
if I say was I here yesterday, then your correct answer would be
you weren't.
no, you weren't here yesterday. Okay, so now you have to add another sentence, but it has to be affirmative. So, no, you weren't here yesterday. You give me a sentence using affirmative or giving a 肯定的.
You went to San Francisco.
You went to San Francisco. Okay, that's a very good sentence, and you use the past tense of the verb go. That's good. Okay, so the sentence is correct. Now I want to ask you, are you able to make another sentence like this, but use the verb be?
Be.
Yeah. Can you also use the verb be? So this is a perfectly good sentence, but try another way.
You were. You were in San Francisco.
Oh, right. Okay, that's perfect. So if you use you were, then you say you were in San Francisco.
Yeah.
If you say you went to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an example, a short example
Mm.
of how we're going to do this. So this time I wrote it on the board.
Mm.
But now I'm going to challenge you and see if you can do this orally. In other words, without reading anything, can you listen with your big ears and try to absorb what I'm saying, and then make first a negative answer and then add a positive sentence? And you want to try to use the same vocabulary, the same verb, and be careful about the sentence structure. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. Were you at the office on the weekend?
At.
Were you at the office on the weekend?
At. Okay. No,
Mm-hmm.
I weren't at office this weekend.
Okay, part of your sentence is good,
Mm.
but the verb is not. So try it again, but change the verb a little bit and keep the rest of the sentence just like that.
No, I weren't at office.
Would you like me to repeat the sentence?
Yeah, please.
Okay, let me repeat my question. My question is, were you at the office on the weekend? Were you
Got it.
at the office on the weekend?
No, I weren't at this office on weekend.
Okay, you got part of that correct. Now, the one thing that I wanted you to think about last time is the verb, because the verb form that you used is not correct.
Mm.
So I asked you, were you?
Mm.
But you cannot answer, I weren't.
Mm.
Not grammatically. This is not correct. So think of another thing. Another word. Remember the word be is special. You have to think I, but you, So you were, but I, different word. Do you remember the word? Okay. Can you look over my shoulder here and look at the board? And do you see on the board, it tells you two past forms. One of them is was, and the other one is were. All right, so I ask you, were you? And then you need to use no, I, past tense for be. I
were. I was.
I was negative.
I wasn't.
Yes, I wasn't. That's right. So
you.
I was.
I was.
And you were.
但我、你、他是一个第三人称，是用 was。
Okay.
我们、你们、他们是用 were。
Okay, so for the past tense of the verb be, and this is a special verb, right?
Yeah.
So the past tense of the verb, you say I was, he was, she was, it was.
Yeah.
I was, and then of course the negative, I wasn't, he wasn't, she wasn't, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But for you, we, and they were, or they weren't. So I need to ask you, were you at the office on the weekend? Now you try.
No, I wasn't at this office on the weekend.
Good, very good. All right, so now can you say on the office? Oh, sorry, at the office. I didn't use the word this. You use the word this. It's not wrong, but I use the word the office. And I linked it. See, the office, at the office.
The office,
Mm-hmm.
At the office.
Good. Okay, so now from the beginning.
Weekend.
Were you at the office on the weekend?
No, I wasn't at the office on the weekend.
Okay, so maybe you can tell me.
Yeah.
Where were you?
I was at home.
Really?
Yeah, I was at home.
So you didn't go to the park this time? You didn't go out? Were you at home the whole weekend? It's okay if you want to say, I was at home on the weekend. But maybe.
Our family party.
So, okay. You had a family party?
Yeah, we had a family party.
At your home?
At my home.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Very good. I'll ask you another question. Was your mother-in-law in China last week?
Law.
Was your mother-in-law?
Law.
Oh, do you know this word? This is a very important word for you. Mother-in-law. Mother-in-law is your wife's mother. So your wife's mother is not your mother.
Yeah.
Your wife's mother is your mother-in-law.
In law.
Okay, mother-in. Do you know this? Have you heard of this?
Law.
Maybe I'll write it on the board, okay? Because sometimes you may recognize a word on the paper, on the board, but you may not recognize it clearly when it comes into your ears. So let's take a look at that. The word I said was mother-in-law. It looks like this. So your mother-in-law is your spouse's mother. That means, okay, your spouse, you know the word spouse?
No.
Okay, spouse means husband or wife. So instead of saying husband or wife, we can use just one word, spouse. So spouse is the person you are married to. And if you have a husband, it means your husband's mother. If you have a wife, it means your wife's mother. So my mother-in-law is my husband's mother. Your mother-in-law is your wife's mother, right?
Yeah.
Now, you have a mother-in-law? Yes, right?
Yes.
You have a mother-in-law.
Yes.
Do you have a father-in-law?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the father-in-law, same spelling, but just put father in. So notice we put father, and then hyphen, in, and another hyphen, and then law. So this is how we say it. So this is how we write it. Now, when we pronounce this, mother-in-law, what happens? Linking, right? So it sounds like mother-in-law, all of this together. Like this, father-in-law, mother-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law, father-in-law.
So I have a mother-in-law, but I don't have a father-in-law because my father-in-law passed away many years ago. My husband has both a mother-in-law and a father-in-law. Why? Because both my mother and my father are still living. So he has both a mother-in-law and a father-in-law.
Yeah.
All right? So as you know, in English, we don't distinguish if it is the mother or father of the wife or the husband. Both the same name. So now do you understand mother-in-law?
Yeah, maybe for me,
So-
mother-in-law is mother-in-law is my wife's mother.
That's right. We need a new green pen. I'm going to put this here so I don't use this one. It's hard to read it. Okay, so I will ask you again. Was your mother-in-law in China last week?
她实际上是在啊，她实际上在中国啊，
你的 mother-in-law.
啊，
Was your mother-in-law in China last week? 她不是跟你一起吗？
那是我妈，
你妈。
啊，
Okay. 那你 mother-in-law 呢？ Was she in China last week?
在中国啊，
在中国. Okay. Now, you cannot have a negative statement, right? Because I messed up. I forgot which grandma was kind of staying with you. So you can answer in the affirmative. You can answer positive.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Yes. She,
No, I want you to try to use this vocabulary, right? You're going to use this
yes.
vocabulary, right? How do you say it?
the mother-in-law,
Yes.
was-
My mother-in-law.
yeah, my mother-in-law was in China last week.
Oh, okay, good. How about your mother? Was your mother in China last week?
No,
Mm-hmm.
my mother-in-law, my mother
My mother.
Was.
Okay.
in San Francisco.
It was in San Francisco. Okay. So can you give me both a negative and a positive? 你能不能用否定的，也用肯定的？
Okay.
Was your mother in China last week?
Yes.
No.
No.
Now
No.
I'm confused.
Yeah, no.
No. Yeah, no. No.
No, my mother
Mm-hmm.
was in San Francisco. Was in Silicon Valley.
Okay, that's one sentence. Is that positive or negative?
Okay.
Is that positive or negative?
My mother.
你刚才
No.
说的是肯定的还是否定的？
刚才说错了。
No, 不是错的。
啊。
Is it positive or negative?
Yes.
No, just tell me, negative or positive?
Negative.
Negative 是否定的。你刚才说的是否定的还是那个肯定的？你想一想。
Affirmative.
Affirmative, right, 是
Affirmative.
Okay, so now give me a negative. Add another one. Negative, so you have two.
No, my mother-in-law wasn't.
No, we changed to mother now. Remember mother? Your mother.
Uh,
Your mother.
No, my mother wasn't in China
Mm-hmm.
Last
week.
week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, yes.
Uh,
No. Just my mother wasn't in China last week. She was
in Silicon Valley.
in Silicon Valley. Okay, good. Well, let's change it now.
Mm.
Here's another one. This sentence is a bit longer, but I think you can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen carefully. Did Barack Obama become president of the United States in the year 2000?
2000.
Do you know the answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me say the sentence again. Did Barack Obama become president of the United States in the year 2000?
Yes. No.
No.
这不是2000年吗？哪一年？哦，应该是08年。
2008年。
对 ，OK， 那 this is Bill Clinton, right? Got it.
Got it?
No.
Okay.
The Barack Obama.
Okay, so don't put the in front of his name. Just say Barack Obama.
The president.
Okay, so here, let's try again. When you're saying this sentence, you have to have a couple of things. You have to know the name. You have to know the position. You have to know the verb that I'm using. And then you have to know the fact. Okay, so I gave you the fact. Right. Now, Barack Obama is the name of the man. So I'll ask you the question again, and you have to tell me the verb. Did Barack Obama become president of the United States in the year 2000?
No. Barack Obama didn't as a president.
Okay, let's see. What verb should we use for this?
Didn't.
Yes, that's the first. That's the part that makes it negative.
Yeah.
Now we need to use the base form of this verb.
Base form.
The base form. So remember, in our list we have all the verb forms. We have the base form on the board, and then we have the past form and the past participle. So in the first column on the board, you look on the board, and in the first column you see all the base form verbs.
Yeah.
So use the base form verb with didn't. So I asked you, did Barack Obama become? Did become. I have to use did in the base form. Did Barack Obama become president of the United States in the year 2000? So when you answer, you also need to use the same form.
Barack Obama.
Yes, Barack Obama.
No, Barack Obama.
Didn't become
a president of United States.
President of the United States.
The United States. In 2000.
In 2000, right? In the year 2000. Good. Barack Obama didn't become president of the United States in the year 2000. He became
president of the United States.
United States. Can you say all 5 syllables? The United States. Right. The United States.
Barack Obama became a president of the United States in 2008.
Good. Okay. So Barack Obama became president of the United States in 2008. That is correct. All right, let me ask you a different question. Did you begin learning English with me this year?
No. I didn't learn English with you this year. I learned English with you last year.
Well, it's close, but it's not one of the verbs on our list. Which verb am I using in my question? Which of these irregular verbs? I'll tell you what.
Learn.
Let me repeat my question and see if you can hear which irregular verb I used in my question. And then you try to use that one. Okay? Did you begin learning English with me this year?
No, I didn't begin to learn English with you this year. I began to learn English with you last year. 2 years ago.
I think so. Was it 2 years ago or last year?
16 and
You-
6, 5.
When
2015?
were you in Mountain View?
Oh, 2 years. Long time, right?
How old is your baby? How old is your baby? The third child. Your third child.
2 years old.
Yes, 2 years old. So, did you begin learning English with me this year?
No,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't begin to learn English with you this year. I began to learn English with you 2 years ago.
Excellent. Okay, good. Now, I want to point out two things. Oh, one thing about two ways to say. All right, so I said it one way, you said it another way, and both of them are correct. So let me show you what that is. When we use the verb begin, we can use either the infinitive or the gerund. So I'll show you what this means. I began learning, or I began to learn. Both of these
Okay.
are okay. So
Good.
this one is called the infinitive, which I can abbreviate INF, period. This one is the gerund, which I can abbreviate as GER, period, for gerund. So
Gerund.
both of these are okay. Not all verbs can have two ways to make good sentence. But the verb begin or began in the past tense can take either one. So although I asked you the question using the gerund learning, I said, did you begin learning English with me this year? You answered with the infinitive, no, I didn't begin to learn English with you this year.
动名词，动名词，
So what do you call it in Chinese, the gerund?
动名词，
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 动
名词，
名词，
啊，
动名词. Oh, okay. So it's an action noun, right?
Action
That's what it
noun.
sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
Action
nice
noun,
is-
right?
I don't understand.
动词 Okay.
And to do something.
Yeah, what do you call
Again,
that?
To do.
What do you call the infinitive?
Infinitive to do 就是
I think you wrote that down
动词
last
不
time.
定式，好像叫动不定式，
Oh yeah, that's right. 动词是不定词。
不定式。
Okay, so we call it infinitive in English.
不定式，对，不定词，不定式。
So I'm going to ask you a different question now. Are you ready?